Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I am sleepy, but I forced myself to stay up through that garbage Laker Clipper game just now. 114-101 was the score. It was a Clipper home floor. And, well, we're dealing with injuries. Let's just say that, just to be fair. Injuries have decimated us yet again. This is another one of those years where LeBron James' entire team just seems to have an issue with staying healthy for whatever reason. But Anthony Davis had a back issue, of course, that he's been dealing with that got re-aggravated in this game. And LeBron James had some sort of left leg issue that took him out of the fourth quarter. Maybe a growing, I don't know. There will be speculation as to him exiting the game just to quit. People are going to say he quit on the team. People are going to say that he just got out of there just to leave LeBron James Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis on the floor to figure it out for themselves. I don't know. I just know the speculation's coming. Let's see. Troy Brown, I really like what I saw out of him. He was very aggressive in the first half. Second half, he kind of scaled it back because the team was trying to make a concerted effort to get Anthony Davis the ball and allow LeBron James to continue to shoot himself out of his slump. LeBron started off 5 for 5, but then proceeded to brick just about everything else. His three-point shot did fall tonight, but the shooting struggles it's a head scratcher how somebody can come out so hot and then proceed to just go so cold. I don't know what is going on with LeBron James, but the stats still look great. 30 points. I think it was 8 rebounds, 5 assists or something like that. Stats still look great, but I'd be lying if I said I was happy with his performance tonight. He was doing his best. I'm not going to sit up here and say he wasn't hitting shots. Obviously he was. He was doing what he was doing, but he was very aggressive and he was continuing to take the three-point shot that we've asked him not to take, and some of them fell. More than not, they fell tonight. But he took them, and there were situations where you see Austin Reeves on the floor, Troy Brown on the floor, and you just wish that we'd run plays to kind of make those guys get a little more going, get a little more experience. But to be honest with you, I don't necessarily look at this particular game and say, yo, we should have did more for the young guys. The young guys were doing plenty, and it wasn't working. Austin Reeves was like 3 for 10. The inefficiency from Austin, he was giving himself a lot of effort out there. 9 rebounds, I believe it was. So you definitely like how he crashed the glass, but it's just a whole lot of clinking, man. I need those shots to fall, and if they're not going to fall, then you got to go to somebody else. Kendrick Nunn didn't get a whole lot of minutes, but he got out there, clanked some shots, and sat down. It was just that kind of night, man. Wenyen Gabriel had a couple good things, but ultimately the last time I saw him, he was bouncing the ball off his foot. Just that kind of night, man. Anthony Davis, we tried to get him involved. He did some good things out there, over 20 points. I wish I would have remembered what his rebounding total was. That's important to me, and I just don't remember. But it's one of those things where I thought the team was doing a good job of trying to get him involved, but it just was all for naught. He's a bit slow out there. That's the end of the day. The same issue we had with him last year is the same issue we have with him this year. Getting him involved slows the team down. You got different players playing at different speeds. AD likes to play at a slower tempo. Russell Westbrook likes to play at a fast tempo. LeBron James tends to like to play in a half court. And it's just a whole lot of stuff that just does not match, and the styles don't mesh together very well. And you saw that issue tonight with those guys trying to make it work. My turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. And in the midst of that, what you have is non-offensive players not being a threat. So it ends up making it even harder for those others to get going. You have Austin Reeves down there not being a threat, clanking everything. Patrick Beverly, who's just not an offensive player at all at this point. He hit a couple shots. I think he hit a 3 tonight, but he's not going to be an offensive threat. So teams can kind of load up on Brian, load up on AD, load up on Westbrook, and just kind of make it so that those guys really can't do a whole lot while they're on the floor with these other players. So that's really what it is. It just puts a lot of effort, not effort, but it puts a lot of emphasis on us leaning on guys to do a lot, and the defense gets an easy job crowding them. So we just need more talent, man. It is what it is. You look on your bench and you say, there was nothing we could really do. I cannot look at Darvin Ham and say, you should have played this guy more, shuffle that guy. I don't know when it came to anything, honestly. Like, I look at Max Christie and I love what I saw. Maybe we play him a little more minutes since he was cobbling up boards with ease. I think he had like 5 rebounds in 14 minutes. So that is something that I thought maybe we could have taken him a little more advantage of. He hit a 3-point shot in this game. So it's one of those situations where that's something that stands out for me. But you can see where my head is as it pertains to this team. Like, I'm more excited about Max Christie hitting a 3 than I am about anything else. Because this team is that useless at this point. Like, they just don't have a whole lot of upside. You have to search for things to be excited about. And that's what it really comes down to. We have some useless pieces. No disrespect to our guys, because we like them as characters, as people. But we're just talking about strictly on the basketball floor. Yeah, we can't do nothing with Patrick Beverley, man. We've acquired him. With all these assets we let go, THT is turned into a nice little player over there in Utah. And we cannot retrade Patrick. Now we're just stuck with his expiring contract. And it's like, we would love to be able to get back THT's value. Not to say that THT was a player that would have, knocked our socks off, because we had him for 3 years. But where are we right now with Pat? Where are we? You know what I'm saying? He really does help us defensively, but what is that really doing when we have absolutely no offense down there? I look down there, I say, okay, he helped us defensively. But they had 7 players in double figures. Same thing goes with Anthony Davis. Like, Anthony Davis is supposed to be this amazing defensive player. But, like, this is the second game in a row where the opponent had more than 7 players in double figures. I mean, it's just not translating. You know what I'm saying? For us to be this great defensive team. This is the 3rd game in a row where I thought our defense just did not translate. Didn't look very good. And granted, we're going up against yet another contender, which is really interesting given the fact that we played all contenders to start the season. And that does matter a whole lot. But it's like, what can the Lakers ultimately do when they're running players out there that ain't that great? And when you couple that with the fact that you're waiting on players to come back that you don't think are going to move the needle that much, it's like, okay, Dennis Schroeder could help us a lot because he could score some. Maybe he hits a couple extra threes. Maybe he's a little more aggressive. Maybe we connect on a couple more free throws, a couple more shots. Defensively, it's an undersized player that doesn't play D, so we know we're going to get significantly worse with him becoming back as a defensive player. Getting Thomas Bryant back. Is he moving the needle? If he's healthy, we're hopeful we can get him to develop to being a starting center. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So it's like, do we expect him to just come out here and just do what needs to be done to make us that? Nah, we don't. I think for me, I'm wondering right now, I'm saying, okay, if I'm Rob Pelinka, that's not the way I want to phrase this. I guess what I'm looking at is, when Rob assembled this roster, what was the plan as it pertains to, okay, we're going to move this piece, and this piece, and together this is going to make us a champion. Like, when I looked at it during the summertime, I was like, okay, before we had gotten Dennis Schroeder, the emphasis was the Lakers do not have enough shooting, but what we can do is possibly add a Joe Harris or a Curry, remove Westbrook from the situation and bring in Kyrie Irving. And for some reason, in my mind, I felt like that would be enough to make us a good team because we have Juan Toscano Anderson, who's supposed to be a defensive rebounding player. Jones, who's supposed to be a rebounding player. Bron and AD have more help to kind of help them be bigs so that they don't have to take on so much punishment. You know what I mean? And I figured that with Patrick Beverley helping on the defensive end, that we'd be able to get a lot out of ourselves. Maybe not become a champion, but You get Kyrie down there dancing and doing all the stuff that he does, going for 30, 35. And with the defensive players that we have, we should be able to do a lot of good things for ourselves. But now that I look at this team and I realize, Jones ain't going to be able to play for us. Nunn is a player that we're not going to be able to just up and trade because he holds no value now. Beverly's not a player that can really be used, and we gave away significant value to get him, which is something that we didn't anticipate saying since we didn't value THT properly. Austin Reeves has come back a lesser player than he was last year. He's not fitting as well in Ham's system as he did in Vogel's. These are the type of things that it's not good. This is all bad. This is all bad. You look at Troy Brown. He's playing great. He's been the one shining light on this situation. He's an aggressive player. Hopefully we can hold on to him. Max Christie, like I said, I like Max. I think he's going to be a nice upside player for us. Dirt cheap, so you definitely want to hold on to him. But it's very few things on this thing that I believe in. It's not a whole lot on this roster that I'm saying, all right, yeah, that's worth watching. So I just think the Los Angeles Lakers are in a space where maybe it doesn't benefit them in the very short term to do anything, but they got to understand that that's going to be the sentiment. Fans are just not going to care too much for this. We went through a bad season last year. We were really devoted. This year, I don't think people have the patience to sit through a bad season, especially when the team looks this bad. This bad? Like last year, the issues, we didn't have any size. It was just small ball all the time. We hated that a lot. And the players were old and it was no fun. We sucked real bad and we never want to see that again. This is just a different version of being just as bad. Do you know what I mean? It's a different way to suck just as bad. It's not like we're lacking rim protection. It's not like we're lacking players with size. No, that's not the issue. It's just players just aren't able to really accomplish a whole lot while running around with a lot of energy. It's like they're running and they're trying, but it's not coming to anything. And you just identify certain things. I was listening to, who was it? One of the Lakers talk people. I think it was Carcino. Carcino for life mentioned something about Kendrick Nunn that made a lot of sense to me. He said Kendrick Nunn is the type of guy who you have to have in a system. Just like Miami ran a specific system. They get him in his spots and they run rhythm plays that get him going. And my mind flashed back to a play in the previous game where we caught him with a three-point shot. I think it was Russell Westbrook got him a nice chest pass with a three-point shot from the, I'd say the left mid area of the three-point line. Not necessarily the corner, but if you take maybe 3 or 4 steps to the right, he hit that shot like it was something he could do every single time. And I just think that's the type of stuff that we need to do. When you leave guys to be freelancers, to create for themselves, one-on-one situations, some guys just are bad at that. Some guys don't know what to do with themselves in those situations. They have to be in a system. They need to be told what to do. Kendrick's one of those guys. He can, if you leave him out there to try to create shots for himself, he's going to be the worst player. But if you put him in a system and let him do something repeatedly and let him get in his spots that he's been shooting in his whole life, yeah, you'll get a lot out of him. And then from there, his confidence goes up and he starts making momentum plays happen for you. That's how you got to get the most out of this guy. Because if you leave him out there to try to be Kyrie Irving and Paul George to dance and Kobe and all that, he is going to be bad. He's going to look like me out there. And that's basically what we're seeing. He just looks lost. And it's like, you get frustrated because, like, you're an NBA player. You know what I mean? You should be able to this, and that. But that is not. That's. Carcino opened my eyes to understand that, no, that is not how his professionalism works. Not everybody is a guy who's looking to create for others and himself. Some guys are mechanics. Some guys are really, really excellent mechanical players. And if you put them in a position to do certain things, they're like route runners in football. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what Kendrick is, then you understand why he's struggling, because we haven't put any emphasis on him. This is what I've been saying. Like, certain things have been neglected on this team because other things have had a need for so much emphasis. And Darvin Ham is having to manage a lot of things as a rookie coach on top of that. So some things just get neglected. So how do you properly fit Kendrick Nunn in a system where the team doesn't fit to begin with? You know, how do you find cohesiveness when you got players in and out of the lineup? You know what I mean? And your, ball handlers turn the ball over quite a bit. And it's just a lot that makes it so that it's impossible for Kendrick Nunn to really find himself in those circumstances from which I described. So, I understand that a little better, and because of it, it just requires a great deal of patience, and most importantly, practice. And I haven't dug deep into the team to know exactly what's going on with them, but I will say they must practice, man. And we say this in a lot of videos that we talk about this team, but it is really a big deal when you have young players that are not very naturally gifted, or you have players that are systematically inclined like Kendrick Nunn. You cannot have partial practices, shoot-arounds, guys missing practices because they're old. You're too much of a important piece if you're LeBron James or if you're Anthony Davis or Russell Westbrook to be missing practice. So I'm not accusing anybody of missing practice. I don't know. But what I'm saying is this team needs a lot of practice in order for them to find the cohesiveness that they're looking for. And tonight, they just look like a bunch of guys who were looking for that. Guys were deliberately trying to let other guys do things. And when it wasn't working, guys were losing faith in one another. It was a lot of that low frequency stuff. I call that low frequency stuff because to me it just seems like it's not deeply intelligent. It's like reactionary. Oh, he bricked the shot. I can't trust him. It's like that kind of stuff. And it's like, yo, as long as this team's going to be on that frequency, they're not going to win anything. You got to be willing to overlook what would be natural in regards to trust for the rhythm of the play, as I always preach. Rhythm of the play. I don't care if the bricks come 100% of the time. If you're running the plays properly, that's all we can ask for. You know what I mean? But slowing down the play, latency issues, that's what I call it in basketball video game terms. It's like when you slow down the ability for the reaction of the button press versus what it is that's taking place. That's what happens in real time when you stop to holler at the refs. It was a situation where LeBron James didn't get a call. It was a 7-point game. Didn't get the call. He didn't get back on D. He's screaming and hollering. They, of course, get a layup. 9-point game. I don't know what the value of screaming at the refs actually was other than to hand the other team 2 points. Not being competitive in an intellectual way is what we've been talking about. How competitive is that, Bron? You yelling at the referees, they getting 2 points. Happy Clipper fans. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how much has he left on the table doing that? Slowing down the latency of the play. By just not thinking on a higher frequency. If he just pretended that there were no refs ever, he would be so much more efficient out there. Defensively. Games would be so much more close. But he's on that frequency. He must be able to voice his opinion against these foul calls. They must hear how unhappy he is at the fact that they did not call the call. When do they ever change their mind, though? Since we play the percentages, it's a sport of playing the percentages, top to bottom. When do the refs ever change their mind, Bron? And I point this at him even though it's a league full of guys that do this, but he's the leader. And I watched Karl Malone do this before him. Some of these guys, they just don't understand. You're hurting yourself double time. Not only by not being able to draw the foul, but also yelling at the refs, and further either not getting back on defense or giving them a reason to call T's, and furthermore getting more points to the other team. And you watch generation after generation of NBA players do this, and you're just waiting for one generation of teams to just work it into their teaching methods to ignore the referees. My golden rule is force them to call the foul and never expect it. If you drill that into these kids' head when they're 5 years old, They will never grow up to be like this. They're never going to slow down the latency of the play because they didn't get a call. They're not going to get the calls, okay. But I promise you this, if you never, literally never bother any of these referees about the call and they see you hustling back on D, you're probably going to be more likely to get the respect of these guys long term. Because they're used to guys screaming at them when they get calls wrong. They're used to guys screaming at them down the pressurized situations. They're used to guys screaming at them when they don't even make no sense to be screamed at. So that one superstar that literally just runs back, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to appreciate him more than they appreciate anybody else. But whatever, man. That's just my opinion. I get it. Sometimes these games looked rigged. We have dealt with Donaghy. You know what I mean? I get it. But you cannot act like every single time the whistle doesn't come your way, it's your duty to stop and acknowledge it. I promise you it's not. All it does is hurt you and help the other team feel good about beating you. And that's what I'm getting. I don't like the competitive nature of this basketball club. Guys fight hard, but not in the way that they need to be in terms of being competitive and in an intellectual way. Far too many times do we do what we need to do in terms of giving the team what they need to feel good about playing against us, and I'm sick of that dynamic this season. Here's something that I really believe. I felt like Russell Westbrook was probably a better floor general for tonight's basketball game. And I know he turned the ball over quite a bit, missed some shots. He wasn't his best self in the first half. But what I did see was him making simple plays for Anthony Davis that led to him getting shots, buckets. Probably more than half of Anthony Davis's buckets came from Russell Westbrook, forcing him either lobs or passes that got him opportunities. I've been looking at Russell Westbrook over the last week or so, and he is a true point guard. Okay? LeBron James, people call him a point guard. But the dynamic that needs to take place isn't taking place when Bron's on the floor. As it pertains to getting guys rhythm passes and making sure guys are in rhythm and making sure the plays are popping and all that. That's a myth about having Bron on your team. When you actually get him on your squad, that's not what actually happens. In fact, it's the opposite. Because a lot of times he's slowing down plays and ultimately throwing plays away by conserving his own energy and throwing up 3-point shots that don't even make no sense. And in other situations, he's turning the ball over unforced. Half of those possessions literally don't end up in the player's hands that need to make guys better. It's a myth that's not real. What I can tell you, though, is he makes some phenomenal passes. And we saw one today, a behind-the-back pass that I thought was one of the best passes I've ever seen. Got to Austin Reeves, and I think Austin Reeves was able to turn that into a foul or something like that. I'm not sure if they gave him 2 free throws or 1. I don't remember if they gave him the continuation, but it was an awesome pass. But it does not translate to guys having been made better. In fact, guys are a lot worse for being on Bron's team, and that is a problem that we need to talk about. Because it's far too often guys come here, they suck, and then they leave and they play well. And we've been seeing it with so many players and guys, and they are in other situations and they come here and then all of a sudden they can't hit a bucket. And we're seeing it yet again. I just felt like tonight, I legitimately felt like Russell Westbrook could have got me 10, 11, 12 assists, and Anthony Davis's numbers would have been higher if we would have just let him control the pace a little more consistently tonight. Now, I know, obviously, you got to consider a lot of things. Anthony Davis was in foul trouble, so we want to mention how he had 5 fouls, and that kind of took away from how aggressive AD could be. But at the end of the day, we just threw away a lot of possessions trying to get LeBron James into his shooting rhythm. I thought he was extremely selfish tonight in regards to taking certain shots. I did. I thought he was very selfish. I thought he was looking for himself. I thought he didn't care if guys ran plays. I thought he didn't care about much anything tonight. And that's just my opinion. I'm going to stick to that. I just got more of the I don't care running while I'm quitting type of energy from Bron. And I get it. The team is no good. They're bad. But that's not why we're losing. See, the team is bad, but we're not losing necessarily because we're bad. We're losing because we don't have everybody on the same page. These games have been winnable. These possessions have been scoreable. He's just been horrible. And he's been looking for his own shot. And then we have a bunch of other guys who consistently run around and do not accomplish a whole lot in doing so. So when you have dead players, so to speak, players that don't accomplish anything, and then you got this going on with him, and you got, the whole situation where Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis are trying to find ways to get each other going. And Anthony, it's one of those things where we're trying to force him the ball, but it doesn't come seamless. For whatever reason, we just cannot run things through him in a seamless way without Bron being out of rhythm, without guys like Troy Brown not necessarily being as aggressive as they want to be. And it just seems to me that that's just so backwards. Like, I get it. Guys are aggressive. I love that Troy Brown's aggressive. Walker didn't play tonight. I love that he's aggressive. 10 shots from Austin Reeves. I told Austin Reeves I want him to shoot. I'm not upset at that. But it's only one basketball. And if AD is going to get 17 shots a game, some of those other guys just have to not shoot as much. And I don't know how that's going to have to work, but that's something this team is going to have to continue to work on. Because I'm just not seeing a good balance with our offense. I like how we're focusing on the three-point shot, though. I think we shot 32 shots tonight. Don't remember exactly how we did making them, but it was above average from what we've been doing. We're cool with that. But, I just think that there needs to be a different kind of pecking order or balance or flow to this offense. And I truly believe that Russell Westbrook has something good going as it pertains to finding Anthony Davis, as to which LeBron James, he's not with us. I don't know where his head is, but he's not focused on basketball. He's focused on shooting, and he's focused on being unhappy about being on the Lakers, but I don't think he's focused on actually the X's and O's of the sport. I really don't. I think he's out. He's somewhere else right now. And so this is wild how this goes. This is the problem, I speak into this camera as if I know people. Jeannie, this is why you don't need to be building around older players. I'm not going to say they, I'm going to say we because I'm his age. Life. You know what I mean? Life. Moody. Tired. Don't want to do it today. Not motivated today because I already done it for so long and this ain't worth it. That mentality, you can't win like that. Even if the games are winnable, it's a defeatist attitude that ultimately leads us to being as bad as we actually are. That's exactly why we're losing. That's why we're 2-8, because guys believe they're 2-8. It's literally this. We're actually a 500 ball club. We could have won half those games if we were focused on the X's and O's, as I'm saying we should have been. But guys are looking for their own shot. Guys are thinking about what ain't working. Guys are thinking about the uphill battle. Guys are thinking about the fact they ain't going to win a championship and don't see the point. They don't believe in each other. They don't believe in guys. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if all of that is in your mind instead of beating the opponent, then you're going to lose. But I promise you, if he had the right mentality, he can beat some games. He can win some games. Because these games have been winnable. You know what I mean? But if you come in thinking you're going to lose, you do things that cater to losing, you play like a loser, and you have a loser mentality, then you're going to get the results of all of that. And that's exactly what I'm seeing from our leader. At least with an S. Because AD ain't too far behind with his mentality. Holding his head down. His body language. Just like, bro, top 75. Come on. Like, where's our confidence? NBA champion. You got how much you've made in this league? What is your career high in this league? In multiple statistical categories? Like, a guy like Anthony Davis, I feel like he would be in a great spot if he were just in a different system with a bunch of high fly acts and speed demons all around him, a bunch of De'Aaron Foxes and Paolo Bancheros all around him. He would be in a great spot. But the thing about it is, I keep seeing him in a situation like that slowing the team down, just like he does ours. You know what I mean? To be dead honest with you, even in that situation, I just see him being a sluggard. You have to wait for him to come up. Yeah, it was a lot of that stuff going on tonight too. Guys waiting for guys to cross the line. You coming with me? That kind of stuff. LeBron and AD, both of them. Like, y'all coming? Yeah, I'll get down there in a minute. It's like, look, the NBA does not have enough roster spots for guys who don't want to be there to be eating up those spots, man. I cannot stress this enough. Give me the dreamers. Give me the Scottie Pippens. You know, Scottie Pippen been coming to our games every game. I've been seeing him at Staples Center all these games to see his boy play, and we don't never put him in the game. Yeah, embarrassing me. Got Scottie Pippen coming to our building, and you never play his son when the whole team sucks. The whole team sucks, and you're not playing Scottie's son. Play Scottie's son. Because I promise you right now, he'd be more productive than half the players we got down there any damn way. It's the truth. Every time I see Kendrick Nunn, it's a slap in my face, y'all. And like, I know we had the conversation about the mechanic. I don't care. I don't care. You're talking to a Laker fan that does not care. I just know the upside ain't there. I know the upside is elsewhere. And all we got to do is swap. Just, hey, bring him down, pull him up. And we're just not seeing that. We're just literally not seeing that. McCoy should have been called up. Mac McClung should have been called up. 40 Jones should have been called up. Why am I still looking at some of these dudes? That's the only question I have at this point. It's like, okay, we've crossed the threshold from we believe we got a chance to be decent to we know we're not a very good team. We've crossed the threshold. We know we suck. So let's do things that bad teams do. If you're not going to trade AD right away, I'm cool with that. You can't trade Bron. We've already accepted that. We don't even want to trade Russell Westbrook because we have to give up 2 picks to do it. I'm not asking you to do that either. But what I do want to see is Kendrick Nunn gone, Damian Jones gone, Juan Toscano Anderson, my good friend, gone. These guys cannot help us, man. I would say waive Patrick Beverly, but that's $19 million right there. $19 million. We traded away a 22-year-old kid for him. And I know I can't get nothing for him, so obviously I don't want to waive him. But that's the point. It's like, turn your attention to who put all this in place and get them gone. That's what you do, Genie. You don't even worry about the roster. You don't worry about none of that. You find the crux of the decision-making that put this jambalaya of bad together, and you thank them for their time and their efforts, and you give them their walking papers. That's what you need to do for us now. That's what Genie Bus needs to do for the Laker fans who are really, really, really frustrated. You need to tell the people that helped put this together that we, Laker Nation, are asking that she remove them. So that they don't, say, well, Jeannie, we're friends. No. Jeannie's not making this decision. The fans are pressuring her to get rid of the Rambus and get rid of anybody else that's behind the scenes that's doing this. Please, for me, send them on their merry way. Because this is eating away at my Laker soul. It really is. And I have to turn on a game versus the Clippers, and this is the outcome when there ain't no Kawhi Leonard. I'm looking at Norman Powell going off. Luke Kennard. I respect those players. They're better than the shooters we got on our team. But that's not what we should be. That's not where we should be at. That's not how things should be going for us right now. Looking at our old center, Luke Zubac, just dunking all over us. Come on, man. That's another thing. I watched Zubac push Anthony Davis around one too many times tonight. I don't think either one of those plays counted for whatever reason. But physically, he pushed the man around. That's wrong for a million reasons as a Laker fan. And I just want to say that I didn't like it. I don't like seeing Anthony Davis get pushed around by players. I know he's better than him, guys that we traded away that we shouldn't have traded away, etc. Anthony Davis, I don't know what's up with your body, man, but I want you to continue to work. You gotta get stronger. You gotta get healthier. You gotta get more sturdy, man, or you gotta retire. It's gonna be one or the other, brother. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Cause this brittle thing, I know it's frustrating you, it's frustrating us. We tired of every time there's a collision, you come up hobbling. We can't afford this, man. We just can't afford this. And then the slow nature of your play, the mismatched styles of the teammates. You got Russell moving one speed, as I said. Bronze, I don't know. I'm frustrated, y'all. I don't want to keep this team together. I do not. God bless them. Got some great guys, good character guys. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we've had worse, but this is just not going to be a winning situation. It doesn't seem like it's worth it at all to move forward. At all. I don't know, and I want some things undone that can't be undone. You know what I'm saying, in regards to our team, but we just have to work with where we're at. I would love to tell Laker fans things are going to get better. They're not. They're really not. I don't anticipate good things are going to happen in the short term because I don't think we're going to get the talent we need to get better. We can look forward to Dennis Schroeder coming back. If he comes back playing like he did in the summertime, maybe we'll have us a nice boost. But I don't know if that's the piece that even helps us with the things that we have wrong right now. Thomas Bryant gives us a little more help, I guess. I'm not excited. I'm just not. So, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be talking about this Clipper game, Laker game, but as I said, man, it was nothing to see. It was a lackluster game. If you really want to know what happened, the Lakers pretty much matched the Clippers in just about every statistical category except for the free throw line, where they just really shot the ball a little better than us, enough better, enough more and enough better. And then the three-point line, the same thing. Enough more, enough better. That's really it. Rebounding, same. Turnovers, same. Field goals, same. Like, we really matched everything they did. Except for Paul George just shooting like crazy. And it's really hard to pinpoint what went wrong other than the Lakers just not being able to find themselves on the same page. Just seeing guys just having a defeatist attitude from possession to possession, to be completely honest with you. I don't trust you now because you missed the shot type stuff. That's really what I saw. A lot of effort in the first half, just like it always is effort in the first half. It's a great first half team. But in the third quarter, they just come out and get blown out. Clippers came out to a fast lead, just like the Utah did, but in a different way. They got out. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like every night you can expect the same thing. They're going to get out to a good start, and then they're going to put Russell Westbrook on the floor. If he starts playing well, Bron's going to start playing bad. It's like that's what I'm guessing. That's how it goes. And then from there, the team just kind of comes out in the third quarter, and then they don't play any defense to start the quarter. Teams get out to an early lead against us in that third, and we never come back. Have a hard time forcing the ball to AD because we're trying to play fast, according to Darvin Ham, and that's copy and paste every night. That is literally how these games go. The other team shoots better than us, obviously, every night. Bad team, man. Bad team. Probably the worst. Probably the worst team in the league. The worst natural basketball team in the league. Because the other teams that have bad records, they have more talent. They really do. They got young players that are going to be great for a long time. So, I'm just like, yo, if Jeannie ain't tired of this, I don't know what to tell her. Maybe this is just good enough. Maybe this is good enough. Maybe this is what she likes. Maybe she's cool with players that are just okay. You know what I'm saying? It's no picks, but we got stars. I mean, LeBron James is going to net her $1 billion or whatever just from being on the team. Maybe that's enough. And I was listening to somebody say, the Lakers aren't going to never trade LeBron James. It's like throw it away money. I think it was Carcino who said that. Like, you're right. We ain't never going to trade away LeBron James because he's throwing away money. But what does it cost to keep him? What does it cost to keep Bron? And how many other ways can you make money if you're the Los Angeles Lakers? I don't have the answers to those questions, but what I can say is we lost another game. We are 2-9, and Bron is hurt. Whether it be his feelings or his leg or both, I don't know, but he ain't playing well. Hopefully AD's back is okay. What do you want me to say, man? I don't know. This team is bad. They bad, y'all. We trying here. We gonna keep up with the Lakers. We love our squad no matter what. We've been through some tough times. This is yet another one. But this seems like the most empty of them all to me because there's nothing to show for it. At least with Sacre, we had Randall on the way. We had Ball on the way. We had Ingram on the way. Right now, we're hoping, beyond hope, that in playing Anthony Davis and LeBron James and Russell Westbrook, none of them get hurt so that we can trade them for pieces that may be good enough picks that could possibly make us what we used to be when we had Brandon Ingram and those guys. That's the ceiling for us. Yeah, because the way I see it is we're capped off in the attic if we keep this crap together. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook. Nah, we'll be lucky to get up 3 flights of steps, let alone get to no damn ceiling. So, that's what I think of this team, man. I think we should blow it up. I think we need to demolish this thing, and we need to do it properly. And following this team is going to be something we do just out of sheer love for the roster, or for the franchise, rather, for our colors, but you know, it's one of those things where we would follow Mickey Mouse and his friends wearing Laker uniform. And to be honest with you, they'd probably pay better. They'd probably put up a better effort against the Clippers. So that's what I got to say, man. I'm done for the night. I'm sure I'll have more to say in the morning. Who cares about this game? Burn the tape. I don't think it matters. Nobody got better. There's nothing to learn. Old guys ran around, did nothing with a defeated attitude, and lost. 5 boards for Christie, though. Video 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.